Hi, seventh graders. Mr. Farley here. Happy day. We're looking at state and local governments today. Chapter 8, Section 4, State and Local Governments. Two vocab words appear at the top here, and we have quizzed on these, or we will quiz on these shortly. These quiz terms can be found on Quizlet and also on your Google Classroom stream. First term is constitutional initiative. Constitutional initiative, a process in which sponsors of an amendment gather signatures on a petition that is sent to the legislature or voters for approval. So, constitutional initiative, a process in which sponsors of an amendment, some type of change to the law, gather signatures on a petition that is sent to the legislature or voters for approval. Constitutional initiative. The second term is local government. And this is government on the county, city, town, village, or district level. Government on the county, city, town, village, or district level. So when we talk about local governments, we're talking about government agencies or government departments within the state. We live in Rensselaer County. We live in the town of Hoosick. We live in the city of Hoosick Falls. We live in the town of Hoosick. Okay. Some of you might live in the village of White Creek, and some states have what are called district levels, like the Capital District region, the three counties that make up the Albany, Schenectady, Troy area. That will be the district level. So local government, government on the county, city, town, village, or district level. That's what we're focusing our attention on today. Let's continue on. Although the federal government plays a role in every citizen's life, state and local governments have a more regular and direct impact on people. The Constitution divides power between the federal government and the states. Every state has its own constitution that is similar in purpose and content to the national constitution. So we have a national constitution that applies to all 50 states, and each of the 50 states also has their own individual constitution. State constitutions have a preamble and a Bill of Rights, but they tend to be longer and include details about finances, education, and other matters. So state constitutions are going to be a lot longer. They're going to include information that might not or does not appear in the national constitution, details about finances, education, and other matters. State constitutions may be changed more easily than the national constitution. We said in chapter 8, section 3, that amending the constitution, the national constitution, is very difficult. It's only been done how many times in the 230-year history of the country? I will pause because you guys all should know the answer to that. How many times has our national constitution been amended? In any event, many state constitutions are easier to amend and are amended more frequently than the national constitution. In many states, citizens may use the process of constitutional initiative to introduce changes to the state constitution. State governments provide a wide range of services, including law enforcement, education, property protection, health and welfare programs, auto and professional licensing, and maintenance of highways and park and recreation areas. Those are all functions of state governments. In addition, each state must build and care for its own infrastructure. Infrastructure is a country's system of highways, bridges, canals, and roadways. Okay, infrastructure. In addition, each state must build and care for its own infrastructure, highways, bridges, and tunnels. All right, we'll talk more about that specifically after this screencast. In addition, local governments are created by the states and have only as much power as their state allows. Yet, they have the most direct impact on people. Local governments provide schooling, as well as day-to-day services such as fire protection, waste collection, law enforcement, water management, and health code inspections. All those are processes of local government. Okay? Local governments also operate facilities such as libraries, arenas, and playing fields, airports, parks, museums, and zoos, especially when we're talking about larger cities. Local governments often operate facilities such as libraries, arenas, and playing fields, airports, museums, and zoos. So those are all functions of local government. We talked about state government and we talked about local government. Let's look at the organizer here, the Venn diagram, which shows by the title here, the responsibilities of state and local governments. And what we've got is a Venn diagram that on the left here shows the areas in the gray here are areas that are functions of state government. Over here on the right, you've got the area in gray, which is the functions, the responsibilities of local government. And here in the middle, you've got where the two circles overlap, you've got the area in which both state and local governments assume some degree of responsibility. So let's look at this for a moment. Let's look at the functions or the responsibilities of state government, okay, on the left. States are responsible for health and welfare programs, okay? Health and welfare programs. States are responsible for property protection in those areas. Law enforcement to aid in the protection of property, for example. Fire departments in some municipalities are going to be involved in property protection. But for the most part, we talk about property protection here. We're talking about the state maintaining responsibility for the protection of all of the citizens in that state and their property, including businesses in cities and towns also. Also, states are required to a large degree for road maintenance. State highways are maintained by the state of New York. Money you pay on the thruway to travel from Albany to Boston or from Albany to Buffalo. Those tolls that you pay to drive on state highways, those are used by the state of New York to maintain that highway, to pay to have toll collectors, to pay work crews to fill in holes or potholes, to pay state police agencies to patrol those highways, all a function of state government. Over here on the right, functions of local government or town or county or village or city government. Fire protection is a function of local government. Waste collection in some big cities is a function of local governments. Now, we have some private companies that collect our waste, but in many big cities, the cities have a department of waste and recycling where they might directly be involved. City employees, local government employees would be responsible for collecting and disposing of waste. And also sewer and water services are typically functions of local government. The area in the middle of the diagram, we have functions of both and responsibilities of both state and local governments where they overlap. The state and local governments both play a role in education. State and local governments both play a role in law enforcement responsibilities. State and local governments maintain local parks and state parks. And also, both the state and local governments, excuse me, are responsible for the development of business, the development of new businesses in a particular area. Let's look at our questions at the bottom of the reading. First question, as always, will be addressed by the reading. How are state constitutions similar to the United States Constitution? And we're going to find the answer to that in the reading. How are state constitutions similar to the national Constitution? You'll be able to find out the answer to that in the opening two paragraphs of the reading. So take a minute right now to locate the answer to that question. How are state constitutions similar to the U.S. Constitution? And secondly, our chart skills question, which will be based on the Venn diagram down here. What are the services provided by both state and local governments? What are the services provided by both state and local governments? Take a moment to explore that question as well. And when we return next class, we will look at the last section in Chapter 8. And that section is Chapter 8, Section 5. It's titled The Rights and Responsibilities of Citizenship. Till then, see you guys soon and stay safe.